Ralph Saller lands in Houston, Texas and is already expected by FBI Special Investigator Renee Schneider. Renee says to Ralph, "Welcome. I'm looking forward to our collaboration. My car is outside in the parking lot. We can head straight to Fredericksburg, also known as Fritztown. You will like it there, even the street signs are in German. There are beer gardens, market squares and German restaurants. I have already booked 2 rooms in a hotel for us, Mr. Saller." Ralph replies, "Thank you very much, Mr. Schneider. I'm pretty tired from the trip." Renee says, "I'll believe you," and laughs a little. They both get into the car and Ralph falls asleep while driving. When he wakes up they have just arrived at the hotel. Ralph doesn't know how long the car ride was, but it's already dark outside. The two quickly sign the hotel book and go to their rooms. Ralph immediately falls back into a deep sleep and wakes up refreshed the next morning. Ralph meets Renee again at breakfast in the hotel restaurant. Renee says, "Good morning, Mr. Saller." Ralph replies, "Good morning. I think that you will tell me a lot about the case now." Renee replies, "Yes, I will. It all started 2 months ago when a farmer who raises cows and bulls saw strange flying orbs over his farm at night. The next day he discovered 2 dead cows in his pasture. No organs were found on the cadavers, it looked as if they had been surgically removed. Likewise, no blood could be found at the crime scene. But that's not enough. A group of hikers saw several creatures that resembled giant monkeys. Here is a photo. It looks like these creatures are Sasquatches. Several residents of the town of Fritztown have noticed these light phenomena in the sky too and report the same creatures roaming the streets of Fritztown." Ralph says, "I think we should question the farmer first." Renee replies, "It's my same opinion." After breakfast we set off. They both enjoy their breakfast and the excellent coffee. Ralph thinks to himself, "What do these unknown flying objects have to do with the Bigfoots?" Alien Area Shop. Your one-stop fashion destination. Attention, fashion enthusiasts of all ages. Step into the extraordinary world of Alien Area, where style meets intergalactic flair. Whether you're a man, woman, or child, we've got the trendiest clothing and accessories to make you stand out from the crowd. Visit Alien Area Shop today and let us help you defy gravity with our mind-blowing fashion selections. Prepare to be abducted by style. After a hearty breakfast, both of them make their way to the farm to question the farmer. When they get there, the two knock on the door. Renee shows his FBI ID and says, "Good morning. We have a few questions about the mutilations of the reddened cows." "I've already reported everything," says the farmer grumpily, "but if you'd like to hear it again then please do so." "Yes, we do," says Ralph quickly. "I come from Germany and I am a special investigator for paranormal cases at the BND, Federal Intelligence Service." Ralph also shows his ID. The farmer says in surprise, "I didn't know that it was now known worldwide. It all started with the glowing orbs that came from the sky, flew over my farm and disappeared into the mountains." He pointed his fingers at the well-wooded hills behind his farm. "One morning," the farmer continued, "I found 2 of my cows lifeless in the pasture. At first I thought that wolves had torn them, but a veterinarian couldn't find any blood at the crime scene. Additionally, these cows had been surgically eviscerated. The veterinarian found no more offal in them. Have you noticed any creatures here? Renee asked. In between, several hikers reported Sasquatch sightings in your area. One night, continued the farmer, I woke up to several noises on my roof. As I walked into the yard with my lamb, I saw several very large, upright creatures running toward the forest. These were very strongly built. I thought of bears, but they don't run away upright. Thank you, said Ralph. Can we have a look around here? Yes, of course, said the farmer. Both walked past the cowsheds, which are empty because the animals are on pasture. The pasture is electrically fenced. The two investigators are watched by the cows. The forest begins behind the pasture. A very dense mixed forest with bushes and hills. The Bigfoot can hide there very well. Once in the forest there is a fallen tree and Renee discovers several large footprints around it. Ralph thought of bears, but these prints are too big. Renee says, these are imprints of beings walking upright. Do you see the heel goes deep into the ground? Ralph then says, I only see 3 toes, I think, says Renee. We have to take a look around here overnight. I have the same opinion, replies Ralph. But first we should ask the veterinarian. They both go back to the farmer and get the address from the veterinarian. What very strange footprints, Ralph thinks. It becomes more and more obvious that these are one or more unknown beings. Renee and Ralph now get into the car and head to the vet. The name is Dr. Bernstein and his office is near the beer garden in the town of Fredericksburg. When they arrive, the two investigators are lucky. The doctor was just about to leave his practice to visit the farm. Dr. Bernstein called Renee. We have a few questions for you. Renee shows his FBI identification. Gladly, says Dr. Bernstein. What can I help you with? It's about the case with the dead cows. Renee begins. What did your investigation reveal? Oh, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Dr. Bernstein begins. The cows were completely gutted. I couldn't find any of the stomachs, liver, lungs or heart. The tongue had also been surgically removed and the animals were also drained of blood. There was only a small incision on them and I couldn't find any blood at the scene. I don't know how it is technically possible that the internal organs could be removed through this small incision. That was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my career. Thank you, says Renee. That was all we wanted to know. No problem, says Dr. Bernstein. Please wait, I will quickly print out the report on this case for you. Dr. Bernstein goes to his office and brings the report 5 minutes later. Ralph believes that a higher being has exempted these cows. He immediately thinks of aliens and what is the connection to the Bigfoot sightings. Both hope that they will get answers to their questions that night when they both watch the forest behind the farm. It's just before midnight. Many people are about to sleep, but not Renee and Ralph. The two paranormal investigators make their way back to the farm to solve the mysteries that are shaking this small town. The moonlight makes the trees appear as dark shadows. It is a starry night. Ralph and Renee don't go straight to the farm. Their destination is the forest behind where they found the mysterious footprints. Both want to be well hidden there and wait to see whether these mysterious creatures can be seen. Many residents reported these Bigfoots, but Ralph also suspects aliens had surgically gutted these cows. But what is the connection to the Bigfoots? Ralph hopes for answers. Both have night vision devices and cameras with them and hope that they can document the paranormal events well with them. The two finally arrive. Things have gotten a little fresher. Renee and Ralph carefully make their way deeper into the forest. There are many roots from the ancient trees. They slowly make progress until the two finally reach the spot with the footprints. Ralph and Renee take cover behind a rock. align the cameras, and wait with their night vision devices. Ralph and Renee don't know how long they've been waiting, but it would have to be between 2 and 3 in the morning. Ralph gets goosebumps when he thinks about the slaughtered carcasses of the cows. Luckily he and Renee have their firearms with them. Ralph feels the air suddenly change. He feels something like wind, but the branches of the trees don't move. Then the two of them see it. A triangular unidentified flying object hovers above them, the bottom, illuminated by a strange green light. Both are frozen and watch as it lands a few hundred meters away. "Let's go after it," says Renee excitedly. They both run towards the landing site and stop in shock, watching as small and large creatures leave the spaceship. For Ralph it is proof of alien activity. So stupid that they both forgot the cameras at the hiding place. Ralph notices that the small creatures have very thin bodies, but their heads are larger. Both assign these creatures to the Greys. The bigger ones are giants compared to Greys. These are heavily encysted and look a bit between a mix of ape and bear. These are Bigfoots. Ralph thinks and notices that these Bigfoots are something like servants or slaves. The Greys point their long arm and long finger towards the farm and the Bigfoots immediately start moving. Ralph quietly asks Renee, "What do we do now?" "We'll stay here and wait." They both wait and watch as the Greys go back into the spaceship. Ralph finds himself shaking with excitement. What are the Greys and these Bigfoots up to? Some time passed and the massive Bigfoot-like creatures came back. Each of the creatures carries a cow over its massive shoulder and brings it to the flying saucer. Ralph and Renee hear the poor cows mooing. But the two also hear a different sound. A human voice cursing and screaming. "You damn bastard! Let me down!" A creature comes out of the trees and both investigators are horrified to see that this creature has grabbed the farmer. "Here we go. We have to intervene," Renee says to Ralph, who had already drawn his pistol. They both set out to stop these creatures. Renee and Ralph run after the creatures with their weapons drawn. Both shoot at the creatures, but the bullets ricochet as if the Bigfoots had armored skin. The Bigfoots disappear in the spaceship. Renee and Ralph cannot track them. Some invisible force seems to be holding them both. The investigators look towards the entrance to the spaceship, but they can't do anything. These aliens are far superior. Two of the little Greys come out and walk towards the two investigators and stop just in front of them. Ralph and Renee see two expressionless black eyes in their heads, which are proportionately large to their bodies. Both of them look as if hypnotized into the creature's eyes but can't read what these plans are, and then Ralph and Renee hear the voices in their heads. Telepathically they keep hearing, "Go away. Disappears. You are unworthy." They both get a headache and then they see a bright light and lose consciousness. The morning begins to dawn. Ralph and Renee come to. The two are still standing in the same place where they lost consciousness. The first question that comes to Ralph and Renee's minds is what happened during all those hours when they were unconscious. The spaceship with the aliens has disappeared. Confused and at a loss, the two go back to the hiding place where they placed the cameras. Maybe they recorded something. Everything is blurry and distorted in the recordings. Ralph says, "Come on, let's stop by the farm. I want to know if the farmers are okay." When they arrive, the two of them no longer understand the world. The farm looks like it has been empty for years. Everything looks dilapidated. Ralph and Renee go back into town to ask local residents about the strange occurrences. They know nothing about Bigfoot sightings or strange appearances in the sky. After asking about the farm, the two are told that the farmer disappeared without a trace years ago. Both investigators are now left empty-handed and have to put this case aside. But Ralph still has the question of what the aliens meant when they said you are unworthy. The next day Ralph goes back to Germany and sent the report to Colonel Schmidt. He is now happy that he is going on his well-deserved vacation. He will spend a few days on the North Sea, unaware that he will meet his next case there.